or social system founded on racism. 3. Racial prejudice or discrimination. 4. The systemic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another. The book starts with a story, When Life Was Our Own, which describes Wampanoag life before any European contact. The story was created to relate traditional Wampanoag culture, beliefs, practices, and values based on our oral traditions and research done over many years. There are no written sources of these early times, due to the processes of colonization described in the other parts of the book. An understanding of pre-contact life brings clarity to the impacts of colonization on Indigenous people. The book outside of When Life Was Our Own is inclusive of all tribal nations in southern New England: Abnaki, Nipmuc, Pocumtuck, Mohican, Narragansett, Neantic, Pequot, Mohegan, and Wampanoag, as we all shared the same colonial experiences. The history sections start in the 1400s, with events that occurred before 1620, and proceed chronologically through settlement and colonization to the present day. This book relates history that happened, but which has been omitted or erased, or is distorted and stereotyped in history books today. The truth of history should be told, because in this case, it is about the beginnings of America, the foundation America was built on, and the truth should be told, period. You will read a lot of things you've never heard about before, and they are pretty tough things, but this is not about blame or making anyone feel guilty or bad. That is not the purpose of this book. This is about readers gaining an understanding of what actually happened in the past. There are many wrongs in the past, but you can't fix something until you know what it is. We can't change what happened in the past, but we can decide to go forward in a better way, where there is equality and equity for all people. While this book focuses on southern New England, the same formula of colonial processes was applied to other tribal nations across the rest of the country, as America expanded north, south, and west into their homelands. Chapter 1. When Life Was Our Own, Spring and the Time of the New Year. Greeting the Day. Little Bird felt a slight breeze on her face and the sudden warmth of the morning sun, bidding her to open her eyes to a new day. Her body resisted rousing from the warm furs of the bed. Maybe just one more snuggle before getting up. Just yesterday, her family and many others had moved from the winter home to their summer cornfields. Sachem Corntassel, the leader of their village, had Little Bird's family return to the same field they'd planted in last year. Little Bird was 12 now, and had helped her Grandma Yellow Sky, Grandpa Singing Wolf, and Auntie Blue Heron carry all the bags and baskets that held everything to set up their summer household. There were dishes and cooking utensils, tools for tanning hides, woodworking, and stone knapping, axes and hoes for working in the garden, and bags of cordage, string, and rope used for making nets or weaving mats. It was only a mile's walk from the winter village, but it all seemed to get heavier as Little Bird walked along. Her arms felt like she had carried 10 bags instead of only 4. Little Bird finally got one eye open and saw her mom standing just outside the door. Smiling Dove was offering her morning prayers. Little Bird slid out from under the furs and quickly dressed. She went out and took Mom's hand, joining her in giving thanks for another morning. Her dad was standing near the cornfield. Strong Bear faced east toward the ocean, his hand raised with his tobacco offering. Little Bird looked across all the cornfields, which went as far as the eye could see. Everyone's houses were in the middle of their fields, where they could watch over their growing crops. People were coming out of their houses, offering prayers and getting fires started. Little Bird loved this first part of the morning. It was quiet and peaceful, and you could collect your thoughts for the day. The smell of salt air was gently pungent, with only birdsong accenting the tranquil silence. Back toward the winter village, the forest met the edges of the cornfields. The pine trees whispered their greetings as the wind rustled through their thick branches.